to explain to you what's happening with border and immigration right now. It's really, really important. And I'm going to ask you to make a call to your representatives at the end if you have a Republican representative. So first, I'm going to try to make this short. The long story, the short story version of the long story is that Democrats and Republicans have actually been working on an immigration package for weeks and weeks now, right? Which is in and of itself a miracle, because Republicans have been unwilling to negotiate border or policy or comprehensive immigration reform for longer than I can tell you. We have not had immigration reform, a comprehensive approach to it, in 30 years, right? Democrats have really tried over and over again to get Republicans to work with them on it, and Republicans have refused. This is history, and you can look it up, okay? So right now, there was this moment, there was this opportunity, because President Biden wanted Ukraine funding. And Republicans said, only if you do border policy. And he said, fine, let's sit down, let's do this. So they started negotiating in the Senate, because the House can't do anything because of Mike Johnson and the Republicans. It's dysfunctional. But in the Senate, Senator Langford and Kirsten Sinema, believe it or not, and a couple of other senators have been hashing out this policy, and Democrats have been giving everything away, to the point where progressives have been furious. Like, in the background, behind the scenes, I can tell you that progressives are angry at the amount of stuff that Biden and the Democrats have been willing to give the Republicans on this, right? Almost all asylum, almost all parole, they're willing to give it all away just to get a border deal done. Because there are problems at the border. It does need to be addressed, and Biden wants to address it. And he wants that Ukraine funding, right? Democrats want to address it too. Everybody wants to solve this problem. That's why Biden is also asking for all that funding for Customs and Border Patrol, which Republicans also don't want to give them. So what we found out this week, on Wednesday, is that Mitch McConnell brought his caucus together. We were very close. This deal was finally actually maybe going to get done. And he brought them together and he said, and this is a quote, "The politics on this have changed." And then he said, "We don't want to do anything to undermine our candidate." Also a direct quote. So I want to explain what that means. And I want to give you the takeaway and tell you what to say to your representatives when you call, your Republican representatives. So what that means is that Donald Trump got on the phones and called leadership in both chambers and said, don't you dare solve the border. I need to run on it, because it's all he has to run on. That's it. He's got nothing, right? So that's what he told them. And they are all bowing down and kissing the ring, because they're cowards, disgraceful cowards. And so they claim every day on Fox News, in their town halls, whatever, it's an emergency. It's a crisis at the border. It's dangerous. Terrorists are coming in, which they're not, but they're saying that, right? How much of a crisis is it really if they are now willing to stop these very productive negotiations because their dear leader, their puppet master, their cult leader asked them to? The answer is they don't care about the border. They don't care about keeping Americans safe. If they did, for example, they would do something about gun policy in this country. They care about winning elections. It's all they've ever cared about. Winning elections, amassing power, and getting rich. Donald Trump is a cynical narcissist who only wants to help himself. So, when you call your Republican representatives, please ask them, if we are having an emergency and a crisis at the border, why did Republicans just agree to scuttle, to sabotage the border and immigration deal that they were working on with Democrats? I understand Democrats gave them pretty much everything they wanted. Why did they scuttle it? The answer, they don't want to solve problems. They just want to run on them in elections. Tell a friend, and don't forget it when you vote.